everyone, welcome back to the Drivers Room. We're in the Sunday League again today. This is Season 5, Round 6, Tier 1, racing in a BMW Z4 one-make race at Fuji International Speedway. Let's see how qualifying went today. In first place we have Kuska. Second on the grid today is Drsl. In third place we have Alex. Fourth on the grid today is Mangino. In fifth place we have Flapjack. In sixth place myself, DJ Rice. Seventh on the grid today we have Rocker. In eighth place is JC. Qualifying ninth we have Mr. Sean. 10th on the grid today, MJR Mercer. In 11th place is Coolio. Excuse me. In 12th place today we have Vano. And 13th on the grid is Muller. 14th today is Too Fast For You. And at the back, 15th place is JJ Balding. So that is how qualifying went today. Fuji International Speedway. Let's get underway. So here we are then, the Drivers Room Sunday League, Season 5, Round 6. Tier 1 about to get underway. Fuji International Speedway with Kuska on pole. Interesting camera angle for the opening shot. And I think pretty much everyone's got away cleanly. There might have been a false start at the back there. I think Ivano's had a false start. As we go into the first corner, looks like Kuska's going to maintain first place. Drsl in second. Alex third. There's a lot of tyre squill going on in the background there. Not too sure who that was. You've got three cars side by side going the curve for the first time. Everyone giving each other plenty of room there. And MJR Mercer's had a good start from 10th on the grid. From 10th to 6th now. And I think that's Mr. Sean and Rocker are falling back a little bit, as this promises to be some close racing. I think it's N300, I'm not too sure. It's be interesting to see how today's race goes, but the top 5 look to be always Mangino's had a poor exit there, and Flapjack does have a look at 4th place, and he does cut back coming up to nets, and yeah, Flapjack has grabbed 4th place there. So Mangino a little bit untidy on the opening lap, has lost the place. MJR Mercer looking very, very quick on his opening stint, is looking at 5th place now. So making up making up 4 places on the opening lap. Got myself closely followed behind. You've got JJ Balding up to 10th from the back on the grid. So JJ's had a really good start. See what progress he can make. So don't think he qualified today. Starting at the back, so Mr. Sean down in 13th now, under pressure from Too Fast For You. So Vano's still recovering from that full start earlier on. Has lost a little bit of ground on the pack ahead. Again, Kuska doing enough to fend off any threat from Drsl at the moment. Obviously a long straight of Fuji. And obviously one of the prime places on track to make an overtake, but Kuska doing enough to hold on to first. Flapjack holding on to 4th place, and Mangino looks to put him under pressure and potentially take that 4th place back. A little bit further back, looks like I've got myself ahead of MJR Mercer up into 6th place now, so MJR Mercer is losing a little bit of ground now. As Rocker gets himself back up to speed. Poor opening lap for Rocker, looking to recover now as everything gets really bunched up there. There's a little bit of door rubbing again between MJ Mercer and Rocker, but MJ Mercer doing enough just to keep his car ahead. There's a little bit of little mini punt there from Rocker. It's getting caught out a bit later on the brakes than Mercer up ahead. So no damage done. So Mercer holding on to 7th place, Rocker in 8th. JJ Balding up into 9th now. So JC down to 10th under pressure from Coolio. Coming onto the main straight now. See if Coolio pulls out, takes a look into turn 1. Which he does. This looks like a pretty textbook move, although JC does cut back. Gets a really good exit out of turn 1. Excuse me. Yeah, does enough to hold on to 10th place for now. So, there's a bit of contact, just about a flick away there. As Coolio just gets up the inside through the Coca-Cola curve. But yeah, looks like. Sorry, there we go. Yeah, it's fallen back a bit. So Coolio up into 12th place now, with Muller CJ in 11th, running wide out of hairpin. And looks like Coolio may well make up another place here. It does keeps the hammer down. No fair play to Muller there. Does keep the speed up and does have the inside coming up to Panasonic, but Coolio with massive overspeed there, just far too late on the brakes. A few piff. JC does lose the back end there. I think that might have been a bad one from JC. So yeah, he does fall to the back of the grid, and we'll get some complimentary donuts in while we're there. And that is definitely a man that has had enough today. So, oh yeah, JC losing out massively there. I think got sent into the barrier. We rejoin the front of the race with Cusker leading the way now, 1:48.9 on the last lap, 1:49.3 from Drsl. So Cusker just extending that lead by around 0.4 of a second. Alex in 3rd place, a little bit of clean air. Flapjack's doing enough to maintain a reasonable gap over Mungino now, as the top 5 settle down again. Myself in 6th place. A little bit of no man's land, but it looks like Rocker's had a good lap on the last lap. He's got himself up into 7th and in clean air now, as he goes purple on the opening sector of lap 4. A little bit deep into that corner there, but JJ Balding up into 8th place as well, displacing Mercer down to 9th now. So good start for Mercer. Is falling back through the grid a little bit. As just onto lap 4 now, Mr. Sean close behind. Muller still running in 11th, Coolio in 12th, and yeah, I don't think we have lost JC from the back. So Coolio in 12th, too fast for you in 13th, and Navano in 14th. But just take a quick look at, as Mr. Sean does look like he's gaining a little bit on Mercer up ahead. 1:51.6, gaining 2 seconds on that last lap. Definitely finding a little bit of pace now. Always MJR Mercer runs wide out of nets and will be under pressure now onto the main straight. We'll probably jump on board with Mr. Sean to see if he picks up the slipstream. Probably a little bit closer than he'd like to be. As you see, he's got to pull out already, but so as long as Mercer isn't getting that slipstream from JJ up ahead, it should be a reasonably comfortable move. We'll see who's later on the brakes into turn 1 here. Beautiful Golf livery sitting well on a Z4, as it does on many other cars. And Mr. Sean meeting the apex really nicely there into turn 1. That's a good move up into 9th place. MJ Mercer, after a lightning start on lap 1, finds himself just shuffled down the pack a little bit. So we just go past the 8-minute mark now, and it looks like Mr. Sean's had an incident somewhere. It's MJ Mercer back up into 9th place briefly. There's a little bit of contact between the two there, and a really awkward part of, what was that corner? Well, 300R? 100R? Not too sure. I might well get Google up in a minute. It's down Mercer out of hairpin again, and looks like he's got himself back into 9th place. So I think maybe Mr. Sean yielding because of a bit of contact earlier. I'm not too sure, but this fight looks set to carry on. Let's see if Mr. Sean can make an attack again as JJ Balding takes a look at the inside on Rocker. He does get himself up into 7th place quite comfortably, and next man down the road is myself in 6th. See what JJ can do now. Lap 5 started at the back of the grid. Lap 5 is up into 7th place. And as we're watching the midfield battle, it's been quiet up at the front, but quietly Alex has been closing the gap up on Drsl, and he's got the inside of turn 1. It's both really struggling to slow the cars down, and really good driving from the pair there. I think Drsl's done enough to take the inside of Coca-Cola, and may well be a car length ahead already, but Alex just looking to position his car well, and yeah, just nowhere to go there. Drsl holding on to 2nd place for now. Alex just turning the wick up a little bit, 48.6 from Alex on that last lap, so he's definitely found the sweet spot in the Z4 today, as Drsl finds himself under quite a bit of pressure now for the first time in the race, and runs wide out the hairpin, but does keep the power down nicely, similar to Muller a few laps ago, and holds on to 2nd place. I think Alex has really got to be looking to make a move on the main straight again. Looks like he's going to get a move done before, as he's got the inside of the final corner, and Drsl does cut back a little bit. Not sure if there was contact there. Alex absolutely flooring it around the outside of that corner, but Drsl has the slipstream now, because can attack straight back into turn 1. I think he is just about close enough to get. There was an early shift there from Drsl, so maybe he's just going to sit on. Yeah, he's lifted early for the corners, just choosing to sit behind Alex for the time being. So Alex showing a lot of speed at this stage of the race, so maybe looking to benefit from that and get a little tow down the road, and maybe both of these drivers can start mounting a challenge on Kuska up ahead, who is completely unchallenged at the moment. We'll see what Alex can do in clean air. And further down the grid, I think we have missed some action, but as these 3 drivers start to close up, as Rocker really wide through Coca-Cola, he's lost a lot of speed there. This is going to really bunch up these cars now. Mercer does take a look. It's a long right-hander. Yeah, that is a 100R. Sorry, I did get Google up. 100R and then a 300R coming up, but Rocker back into 8th place as this 3-car battle for the final top 10 spots starts to heat up. Mercer right in the middle of it. Mr. Sean's not found a way back past Mercer, but as you can see, all running nose to nose to tail at the moment. Again, we'll see how this pans out coming onto the main straight. So Rocker doing enough, looking tidy at the moment. A little bit of a little nudge there from Mercer. As these two had a cracking race at Monza a few rounds ago, and so Mercer's had an untidy exit through Panasonic, and Mr. Sean nearly alongside there. Mercer's just going to get the tow from Rocker, and you see just managed to get his car ahead again, but Rocker again, they're getting away with that. That's as in Mercer not close enough don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1 on this lap, because he did have a bit of an untidy exit out of the final corner. So Mr. Sean up the inside of Mercer into turn 1. So there was a move done there from one of the cars as Mr. Sean moves up from 10th to 9th place now. And Rocker could certainly do with Mr. Sean and Mercer getting into a battle behind and hopefully give himself a bit more breathing room again, as I think we have lost Muller from the back as we flick to too fast for you, just having a bit of an excursion, losing the back end completely. Very lively car, this Z4. To a lot of these road cars, the excess body roll can be quite a lot to manage, and there isn't the same sort of room for error as you get in race cars. As, once you start fishtailing, it can quickly go out of control. But quick run through the grid as we come up to the halfway point. Kuska leading everyone onto lap 9 now in first place. We've got Alex in second, got a reasonably comfortable gap to Drsl in third at the moment. There's Flapjack in fourth place, Mungino in fifth. I think that's Flapjack just diving off into the pits there. I don't know if that was a late decision from Flapjack, but just before the halfway point. So most drivers will be pitting, as myself pitting as well. It'll be either this lap or the next, I'd imagine. You see a flood of cars in the background. So that was that 3-car fight behind with Mr. Sean, Mercer and Rocker. So Mercer choosing not to pit yet. We'll see how that pans out compared to Rocker and Mr. Sean, as so I believe most cars will probably pit around this halfway point. So Flapjack doing just enough to get out ahead of Mercer on the fresh rubber, and has some clean air, try and set some good lap times now. There's JJ Baldwin up into 5th place now, as he hasn't pitted yet, setting his personal best on the last lap with 49 flat. So see how where JJ feeds back into things when he makes his first pit stop. So Kuska not pitting yet, out in first. Alex also not pitting. Drsl not pitting. Top 3 not pit. Top 4, sorry. I'm just going to shut up now. The top 5 haven't pitted yet. So Flapjack, the highest runner of all the cars out on the fresh rubber at the moment. We'll see what Mercer could probably benefit from a bit of a tow as well. Let's see if he can get a slight overcut done, maybe. You don't see that often. It depends how much fuel these guys have taken on as well. There's nearly three quarters of a tank gone, just over the halfway point. But we do have Jeff Kuska in the pits from the lead. I'd imagine this would be all the top guys diving into the pits now. As Mangino absolutely launching it into the pit entry there, and Baldwin carrying on for another lap. So maybe just wanting to get a taste of first place for a while. I think he should take the provisional lead of the race. Yes, Kuska does come out in a comfortable 2nd place, taking on plenty of fuel there as well for the remainder. Alex under fueling a little bit more than Kuska up ahead. See if that's helped him to close the gap a little bit. But Flapjack in 4th place, so pitted in 4th, I believe, and is back out in 4th. Mangino out on the fresh rubber now in 5th, closely followed by Drsl in 6th. I think we've missed an incident somewhere with Drsl, but we'll spare the blushes. Yeah, I'm just being informed there was contact between Drsl and Alex at turn 1 a lap ago, and Drsl losing out massively. Alex just about getting away with it, and but yes, really thrown Drzl's race up in the air now. He does rejoin in 6th place. He's got a difficult driver to overtake in front, so has a lot to do now as he was sitting in a comfortable third place behind Alex before the first pit stops. We'll see how that pans out. So Coolio up into 7th place now, having not pitted it either. So Coolio and JJ up front, I think the only cars not to have pitted yet. And becoming a little bit of a signature style for Coolio, as does tend to run the first stint quite long at times. I've noticed a few races. Very similar to AGT Racer, actually. But we'll see how that pans out. So he's up into 7th at the moment, and looks like he is going for another lap. Pretty good speed this stage of the race as well, setting a personal best of 1:50.2 on the last lap. Losing a couple of seconds on that lap. Myself coming through in 8th place. So I'll see how this fight is. Mr. Sean, Mercer and Rocker. So quite a bit of field spread now. Looks like Rocker's lost out quite a bit compared to Mr. Sean's done really well out of those 3 guys. He's got quite a gap up ahead of Mercer now. So Mr. Sean up into 9th, Mercer in 10th, Rocker in 11th. These guys are all good until the end of the race again. Good until the end of the race now, and we'll see if they close up again. Too Fast for You in 12th place and Ivano in 13th. That's I think Balding has made his way past Ivano, as has Kuska. So if Balding comes in for a pit stop now, as he is still in the lead of this race, but as you can see Kuska just about to set his first flying lap. Looks to be absolutely on it at the moment. Maintaining, so 45.5 and a 45.8 on the outlaps for what will be P1 and P2 when Balding makes his pit. Is he going to go this? Yeah, there we go. So JJ into the pits at the end of lap 11. Taking those tyres really far into the race, but see where he feeds back into things. So as Kuska does go purple, so doing absolutely all he can to bring the race win home today. Kuska has been pretty flawless out in front. 48.5 from Kuska, so nearly a second over Alex on that last lap. Doing a stellar job out in front. You see Flapjack in 3rd place now after JJ has made his pit. Obviously the misfortune from Drsl earlier. Mungino still doing a good job in 4th place, and very similar lap times to Flapjack up ahead. See if he can start making a push for that podium towards the end of the race. It's JJ in 5th place now, and JJ he's not changed his tyres. That's got to be a genuine mistake there. I don't think he'd be looking to shave a second or 2 off his pit stop and go to the end on this set of tyres, but it looks like he has to now. So I see us Varno in the middle of Flapjack and Mungino at the moment. We'll see if Mungino can close up the gap to Flapjack up ahead. See what sort of pace JJ's got on these really warm softs now. Drsl not far behind in 6th, and just getting himself back up to speed. So 1:54. I think Drsl had a bit of an untidy lap on that last one. Let's see if he gets himself back up to speed and pushing himself towards JJ towards the end of the race. He got myself in 7th in clean air front and back. Mr. Sean in 8th in clean air now, so it looks like he's pulled a bit of a gap to Mercer behind. Mercer's just setting his personal best now, so car's getting lighter and quicker as the race goes on. Coolio runs wide there through nets and has lost a bit of time, so Coolio's pitted as well. He's out on fresh rubber now, good to the end of the race. And see what Rocker can do in 11th. Rocker with quite a bit more fuel than Coolio up ahead. So we'll see if Coolio has to fuel save towards the end of the race. 49.7, very consistent lap times from Flapjack in 3rd place at the moment, but Mungino just finding a few extra temps on that last lap obviously Flapjack will probably notice that on the Delta and see if Mangino can just get in that slipstream before this race is out. Still 7 minutes to go, so this could definitely turn into a battle for the final podium spot very, very soon. So JJ doing well on that warm rubber at the moment, but I've just got a feeling he's going to be a sitting duck at the end of towards the end of the race, probably within a couple of laps. As Drsl just navigating a back marker there. Shimano's diving out of the way. Ooh, really diving out of the way, by the sounds of it. But hopefully he's kept that going. Just keep an eye out on this lap time, see what sort of times JJ is putting in. So yeah, a little bit further up, looks like Mangino is starting to draw Flapjack in. Not quite close enough now. Anyway, JJ 1:49.9 on that last lap, 1:49.9. So very, very good pace on that warm rubber. How long can it last as Flapjack is wide out of turn 1? So yeah, just maybe feeling the pressure from Mangino a little bit, but yeah, really good lap from Mangino again on that last lap. And he's all over the gearbox of Flapjack now. As they come around 100R. Little nudge there. Flapjack just moving over to the left to take the inside of the hairpin. Mangino trying a cutback. Just can't quite position the car where he wants it. Oh yeah, this is a battle for the final podium spot, all to play for here. Again, maybe just Mangino just biding his time a little bit. There's no need to rush this, as once he does get in front, he does need to pull a gap. Otherwise Flapjack will fight right back, probably along this main straight. So Mangino a little bit further back than he'd probably like, although it does look like he's got a tiny bit more overspeed. Yeah, I just don't think he's close enough on this lap. So yeah, not really getting the benefit of the slipstream early enough to make a challenge into turn 1. So Flapjack holding on to third place for now, as Mangino looks to keep the pressure on again for another lap. And you can see JJ just dipping into the 1:50s now, as Drsl just starting to got the tyres warmed up, just starting to find speed again. 48.8. I imagine these two cars will be a lot closer very, very soon. A little bit further back, I think all positions pretty much being maintained. Yeah, pretty much. I think it's all the same at the back. No overtakes in the past couple of laps, but keep an eye on this place. Fight for the podium again, as Flapjack is weathering a fair bit of pressure now. Mangino slightly better tyre wear, especially on the rears. I think that's really going to be critical, as we are coming towards the end of this race now. And Mangino moves out of the slipstream early, and we have a bit of a drag race down to turn 1. There's Mung up into third on the graphic with another blistering lap there. See what Flapjack can do on the outside. See both these cars late on the brakes. Flapjack's just trying to angle, get a wide entry and get a cut back, but Mangino gets a good exit out of turn 1 and is up into 3rd place. See if he can hold on to this now, as he does go purple in the first sector. Excuse me. So, they may well get another lap in after this one, I think. I think they will. And Drsl is as close to JJ as he has been for a while. JJ really struggling on those worn tyres now. He feels just going to pretty much understeer. Yeah, it's just not a lot he can do there really. It's Drsl that moves himself back up into 5th place. Really should be at the very least. No, he was up with Alex, so would be at the very least fighting with the 2 cars up front, up ahead of him at the moment. Flapjack and Mungino. It's a minute of the race left to go now, so most of these cars will be carrying on for another lap. And I think we've got a fair bit of field spread with these guys at the back now, as it looks like Coolio's pulled a bit of a extended his gap over Rocco. So looks like he will be bringing home that 10th place. But as I think the top 6 now are coming through, 20 seconds of this race left to go. So JJ looks like he's going to be in for another lap. That may well be my last lap, we see, but Mr. Sean looks like he's closing the gap up to myself. So crossing the line for another lap, 7th place, 50.3 and a 49.7 from Mr. Sean. So yeah, Mr. Sean looking quick this stage of the race, and looks like it's going to be our first official finish today in 9th. Coolio does bring home 10th, setting his personal best as he crosses the line. Rocco bringing it home in 11th, Too Fast For You in 12th, and Ivano in 13th. We're back with the lead of the race. Got Kuska out in front all by himself. Not got much airtime today. It's been a pretty uneventful race, but that is the kind of uneventful race I would like if they're going to bring home the win. But yeah, hasn't put a foot wrong today, and led from start to finish. As the fight for 3rd still continues between Mungino and Flapjack, and I thought that was Kuska crossing the line, but so we will try and catch the race winner taking the checkered flag, obviously, but we still have to keep an eye on this fight for 3rd. I think Mungino's done enough here, just has to keep it sensible through Panasonic, get a good exit, and it should be job done and bringing home the 3rd place. A little bit wide on the entry there, but we'll flash back to that in 1 second as Kuska does come across the line to take 1st place. Congratulations, fantastic race win from Kuska today. Alex in a comfortable 2nd place in the end. Mungino has done enough to bring it home in 3rd in the final podium spot, closely followed by Flapjack in 4th. Unlucky for Des today, bringing it home in 5th after incident just before the pit stops, I believe. Balding doing just enough to bring it home in 6th, stretching the fuel and tyres out to the end there, and looks like I've done enough to fight off Sean until the end in 7th. Mr. Sean in 8th. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.